Hi, my name is Edward Ewell. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I was discriminated against my second year that I moved to the Bay Area. So it was about 3 years ago. I was living in North Oakland, Berkeley area at that time, and my roommate at that time and I were trying to get somewhere. We were trying to figure out how to um, get in one of the check engine light or some light that was on in his car at the time. We were trying to get that light off, and we were sitting in our neighborhood about just 50 feet away from where we lived, and we noticed as we were trying to figure this out that a cop car was going around. And so we were like, okay, let's hurry up and figure this out. We looked slightly suspicious. We pulled over to the side of the road, but we're two young black men, and being from Detroit and having parents who are lawyers, I knew, you know, we could potentially look suspicious. So it's time that we, potentially get a move on and keep going. But we continued to kind of struggle with this little thing. And so the police car passed by one more time. We were still in the same place. And I was like, okay, we really need to get a move on now. But we couldn't figure it out. We didn't want to drive with it on because we thought that something was wrong with the car. So seconds after the second time they went around, I'd say 6 or 8 police cars appear out of nowhere in front of us, behind us, block us off, and they brought the SWAT team. Literally, we see all types of weaponry that I've never seen before. For what I thought was just like a routine, we're trying to check to make sure nothing's going on. And so at that point, we hear on the loudspeaker, "Get out of the car. We know what you did. Get out of the car slowly. The driver's side passenger, get out slowly, turning away from us, put your hands behind your head, and step back slowly." And so I was in the passenger side. So my roommate was terrified. He'd never been in a situation like that. And he made a mistake. He turned and faced the police officers. And fortunately, nothing happened. But it was terrifying because they're like, turn around now, face the other way. And so he did. He put his hands behind his head, put him in handcuffs. Luckily, I'm a quick learner. I realized, okay, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And as soon as he was in handcuffs, they told me to do the same. And I was put in handcuffs for the first time in my life. And what we quickly realized was they were looking for some armed robbers who were also black men. There were 3 of them, though. So they immediately asked us, "Where's the other passenger? Where's the other passenger?" We're like, "There's nobody else in the car." We're both teachers. I was a teacher at the time. I moved out here with a program called Teach for America. So I was teaching first grade at the time. So I'm like, you definitely have the wrong people. He's a kindergarten teacher. I'm a first grade teacher. Definitely not the people who committed armed robbery. And so they were like, yeah, we know. We can always kind of tell. But nonetheless, they kept us in handcuffs for about 30, 45 minutes. At this point, there are people who we live with, our neighbors, who are just lined up. Some people peeking through the blinds, some people who are on the porch trying to figure out what's going on. And obviously just a very embarrassing situation to be in. And then they actually had the victims come and identify us, shined a really bright light in our face in the middle of the street. Didn't take us anywhere, didn't do it in a more, discreet manner. In the middle of the street, shined bright lights in our face and said, okay, is this them? But they were really far away, so we couldn't see them. Obviously it wasn't us. And then they said, we're sorry, and then they just let us go on our way. So very intense situation. We'll never forget it. Was scared out of my life. I'm just really thankful that my roommate was not shot or was not harmed in any way, but awful experience. The last time I discriminated against someone else was on the BART. I was taking the BART somewhere, and there was a homeless person, a black man, who came and sat down on the BART and was trying to engage me, trying to talk to me, wanted to use my phone. My better judgment was no. I'm not even gonna talk to him. Kind of went with my gut and just walked away from him, and in a way was disrespectful to him in terms of just not really engaging with him at all, and then also not letting him use my phone when he seemed to like really, really need it. But yeah, that was it. Felt bad about it, and yeah, wish I could do something different. Hope I will do something different if I'm, as I've said during a few of the talkbacks, I was talking to a student, and I sub from time to time now, and I was talking to a student who's in 5th grade, young black man, young black boy, who didn't know what slavery was about. I was telling the students about this play, and just talking about, some of the topics that are discussed and some of the things that are brought up in the play. And afterwards, he came up to me and said, "Yo, like, what's slavery? You're talking about that. What's slavery?" To hear that he didn't know what slavery was about was just atrocious to me. And as someone who studied history and always really has had a passion for history, and someone who has just understands the importance, especially as a black person, of understanding your past and understanding where we've been and what our ancestors fought for, it was just awful to me. So I think this play, if anything, just stresses the importance of remembering the different atrocities that have happened all across this planet that aren't just happening to black people, but all types of people. And understanding that we can't just throw those things away. We need to remember those things. We need to have those things imprinted on our minds. We need to be uncomfortable by those things, or made to be uncomfortable by those things. We need to have those things sometimes forced onto us, because sometimes we don't want to see those things or have to go through those things again. But these things happen. These things can happen again. These things are easily forgotten, clearly. And given that, it's just so much more important that these types of stories are being told. So that's what I learned. That's why I continue to share to all of my friends about this show. Even though they might be informed and enlightened and conscious or whatever else, we still need to know about it. We still need to have these things talked about, and we need to spread the word, particularly to young people, so that they know what we're fighting for and what we're continuously fighting for, and what they need to always remember as they're doing everything. And it's a hard thing to bear as a young person, but I'm glad that my parents made me very clear on what slavery was about and what my ancestors had fought for.
Cool.